February 13th, 2020. Xennial Digital, Douglas.Fajardo. It was so nice to meet you and your helper yesterday at the Synapse Summit. Your climate augmented reality project was inspiring. I have 2 project requests for you. The first is to finish a project that was started in February of 2019. I sent you a link to the project files for a tiger I had built by a developer named Leonard Nagu in Cameroon. I've asked him to upload the 15 gigabyte of current files to this folder on February 8th, and he's promised to do so. These files in the Dropbox file now are some of our early attempts at creating a tiger in a forest that displays on the Rift. It's too big for the Quest, and I've asked him to try and scale it down and submit to the Quest Store to be added as a free download. He did that last summer, and in July, Oculus declined. See screenshot below. Leonard hasn't been able to fix whatever it is they are having issues with. I would be happy to pay you to address it and give you my Oculus login so that you can see what's going on. The second project is to recreate or complete the above project with more interactivity. My ultimate goal is to create an experience that can be given away on the Oculus Store, Steam, and anywhere else immersive experiences are exchanged. I'd like to be able to go to zoos and offer them the free use of the experience in an effort to get them to shift from holding big cats captive to more immersive experiences. If I can show them that something is far more entertaining and educational than seeing a live cat languishing in a cage, then they could hire you to do other zoo animals. The cats are my only focus, but there are 35 species of wild cats, so there is a lot of potential for more work if the tiger experience turns out to be good enough for me to want to invest so much money. As you mentioned, we could have several cats in a given forest. I kind of like the idea of an Earth as a menu. You pick an area and see which cats are native there. For example, in North America, there would be mountain lions, Florida panthers, bobcats, Canada lynx, and jaguar. In Asia, there would be tigers, cheetahs, fishing cats, leopards, etc. You also need a menu by species name, as people may have a certain cat they want to know about and don't know where it lives. Based on your climate change model, it would be compelling to look at the last 100 years and see the shrinkage in their habitats and numbers and a projection for when many of them may go extinct, which for many of them is just in a few years if we don't protect their homes. That may be further down the line. I really like the quality of my tiger in its Unreal Engine form. I don't know if I'm going to like how low poly it may look to work on a Quest, because I haven't seen what that looks like on a Quest yet. The cats have to be almost photoreal for this to replace live animals in zoos. A friend of mine named Todd is trying to help, and did some renders for me from Leonard's files to show me the tiger we built in 2D, and I gave him a link to that. I envision an experience where the person walks through the woods, or the plains, or the glaciers in the case of snow leopards and Pallas cats, and sees the cats doing normal stuff. There could be buttons they click to hear experts talk about the threats facing the cats and their biological attributes. We have all of that info on our website. I give an example for tigers. We just replaced the species name in the URL for the other species. We have literally thousands of videos, both flat files and over 100 in 360 or 3D 180 here and here. In order to see how, and then I gave the links. In order to see how they move, or to make paths for the viewers to take to learn more about feeding the cats, their vet care, etc., I store all of them on the Amazon S3 cloud, and can give you links to download them in high resolution if useful, or we can shoot what you need. We try to put out a new immersive video each week. The first cat I want to do is the tiger. If you can use any of the work we've already paid for, that would be great. I'd like to add a few scenes, though, that have not been rigged and for which I have not looked for models yet. The main reason so many big cats are suffering in captivity is an industry called cub handling. One of the worst places, in my opinion, is down near you in Miami. That's Mario Tabro's place. Zoological Wildlife Foundation. Places like this constantly buy cubs to use for a few weeks as photo props, and then they end up killed or given away as pets or made to be breeders to pump out more cubs for the paying public to fondle. If people knew the truth about how cruel this is, and that it doesn't help conservation, in fact it hurts conservation, they wouldn't do it. I'd like the tiger experience to include the tiger mom having a cub or two so we can show the way the mother loves and protects her cubs. Then the pop-ups could be some of the videos we have of cubs being ripped from their mothers and exploited at these venues, malls, and fairs. I think the contrast would be compelling. I can't get 360 or 3D videos of the abuse, but do have a number of flat files that we have gotten while doing investigative undercover work. When cubs are used for handling, they are taken when only a few hours old and can never go back to their mothers. It's cruel to the moms and the cubs. See cubtruth.com for details. We have a federal bill that would ban the cub handling, and I'd like our first Oculus Quest experience to be something that addresses this in a way that we could show lawmakers. They are always worried about putting a zoo out of business, so it should also show examples of what zoos can do instead of abusing animals, which is to use immersive experience in mixed reality. What comes next to get started? Digital Learning Coordinator, Office of the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools. I am working on a project with our local zoo to use VR 180 to bring some experiences of their animals to students who have either not been able to attend the zoo or to extend activities before and after the students visit the zoo. I was wondering what technology you used and what the process was to create the videos on bigcatrescue.org's website. Videos like yours are exactly what I would like to be creating so that students can have extended activities to increase learning about the animals. I would appreciate any guidance you might be able to provide. Thank you very much. Jaron Ott, ED, Digital Learning Coordinator, Office of the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools in Van Ness, Fresno, California. Hi, Jaron. I am just thrilled that you are embracing immersive experiences, and you are certainly welcome to use any of our existing content as long as you aren't duplicating it on social platforms to compete with our channels. I can give you the links to the high-res files if you want to use any of them for remixes for your purposes. To address the question you actually asked, though, we shoot with the Insta360 Evo. I gave him a link to that. We edit with Adobe Premiere Pro. Gave him a link to that. We upload to our main YouTube channel and also to our 360/3D channels on YouTube and Facebook separately. We do that so people in a headset can subscribe via YouTube VR or Facebook to just see the content made for their headsets. We display the content at trade shows, schools, etc. on the Oculus Go. Gave him a link to that. If we won't have access to reliable internet, we use an Oculus Go app, which was easy360.com, and can either choose to show the same video to everyone at once, or can create a playlist that the viewer can choose from just by focusing their gaze on the video they want to play. That way the user doesn't have to fiddle with the controller buttons. We learned everything we know about doing this by Googling and watching tutorials on YouTube. We won a YouTube grant last year for $20,000, a camera, and training for 3 of us, and that really helped us perfect the craft. YouTube and VR Scout run that every year. I gave him the link to that. We just attended a conference the past 2 days with 6,000 guests, and the Oculus Go 3D 180 video experience was a huge hit. Synapse Summit 2020 is where we introduced a lot of new people to our big cats in VR. The results were quotes like, "This is the best experience I've ever had," "This is the closest I've ever been to big cats," "This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen," and so much more. Our primary mission with our efforts into virtual and augmented reality, carzoo.me, is to lead zoos to a future where no wild cats are held hostage, because the public prefers seeing them in these much more engaging ways. I am so glad to see that you are already starting to look in that direction. I met a company at the conference that is helping us bring the first CGI immersive tiger experience to headsets, and can give you more details on what we are building there if you're interested. We aren't branding it because we want to give it away free to zoos to use instead of breeding more cats. Happy to help in any way we can, because we envision a world where all wild cats live free. If you're enjoying my diary, please like, share, and subscribe. You can find other ways to connect to me over at bigcatrescue.org/Carole.Baskin.